Hello, Gemini. Welcome. I'm Ryan. Thank you for being here. This is going to be a general reading for you to be dealing with. Of course, everything may not resonate, so take what does and leave the rest. And for more tarot readings after this, please check out my wife's channel, Theyre Tarot. She's reviews as well. Thank you. All right, let's see what's going on. Ooh. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Okay. You're clearly dealing with someone here, Gemini. I don't exactly know what the dynamic here or connection is between the two of you, but you guys are clearly mirroring each other. That is so interesting. For some reason, I hear that like when you a description of like a person or a personality, or kind of like how they're being perceived, kind of like when they're in their kind of in their ways. I'm hearing they're a goat. They're a goat. I mean, like they're a little bit stubborn. They're a little bit hard-headed. It's like they do what they do. They want what they want. They like what they like. I'm getting that kind of energy where they're a goat. They're a little bit hard-headed and stubborn. Now, I'm not saying that in a bad thing. They're just kind of putting their foot down here on what they want. They're showing me lots of confusion, but there's so much confusion where they do know it's kind of like, even though things emotionally speaking aren't necessarily the greatest right now, they do have love there. It's just things aren't feeling too great. They know they kind of have to put this behind them. They're kind of like, things have to move forward one way or another, but the way things are moving forward, they're kind of being a little bit like my way or the highway right now. And they're ultimately kind of like, no, I want this. They definitely want some sort of new beginning. They do. Now, I don't exactly know, again, what the dynamic is, but they're showing me that whatever this new beginning is that they strongly are fixated on, they're going and they're pushing through a lot. They're pushing through the emotions. They're also pushing through quite a bit of pain. And even though it's like as something new is beginning or starting with the two of you, clearly, the pain steps in and completely changes their perspective. And so it's kind of like when my way or the highway doesn't get their way, and they realize and they find out like it doesn't make them happy. It actually, cracks their heart wide open, and now they're kind of like, well, it changes their perspective. Hard-headed until they start seeing stars. Then they're kind of saying that it's this possibility with Gemini. It's kind of like, well, they just don't know where things are with each of you or either of you at this point. They're kind of like, is there still something here, or is there not something here? Like I said, both of you are mirroring each other, so pain will speak volumes, but it also kind of askew your perspective and askew your mindset a little bit. Yeah. They're like, don't know. We'll just kind of see. It's interesting. They're ultimately surrendering to this. So once again, even though the situation is kind of like, let's just say up in the air, Gemini, they're willing to kind of put this behind them and just kind of focus on like, okay, is there some type of plan or possible solution here to just kind of have things move forward, or kind of just see where things go, literally, even though within themselves they're a little bit hesitant and not too sure about where they're actually energetically at with the situation, the dynamic. They are doing what is necessary for them to kind of clear their thoughts, clear their mindset. I feel like for them it's an energy of kind of like, okay, let's kind of approach this in a different manner, and see where things kind of go. And that could be because of a living situation, a home, sort of that thing. I don't know. Maybe a foundation. I'm looking at 444. Yeah, they're kind of saying whatever this is between the two of you, they've given a lot to this, and they've given a lot to the both of you, whatever this dynamic is. I kind of get connection, relationship, but they're not showing me that. They're showing me it's like there's something going on there, but they're like, no, I'm going to, like, once again, they're kind of stubbornly like, no, this isn't, I want this. And so like I said, it's not necessarily always a bad thing, especially when someone's like that with someone else. It's like, no, I want this to work. Then it becomes a bad thing when it's kind of like always their way or the highway. It's about meeting in the middle. And they're showing me it's like they don't really want to go anywhere. It's like they want to make things work. They're determined to make things work. Yeah, there it is. They're determined to make things work. It's interesting though. It is what it is. I mean, come on now. It is what it is. It's interesting. Yeah, that's. This is one of those situations where there's, like I said, the dynamic. They're like, well, I am trying to figure out how to make things work, but I am getting a little bit frustrated and irritated. It's like as time progresses, they're kind of like, it's turning into a little bit of this pointing game. But what's interesting about this is as things are moving forward, things are actually being straightened out and cleared up. And that's what's interesting is there is some sort of middle ground reached that allows things to kind of move forward and flow here. And so it's like, maybe it's just literally that time. Time kind of changes things. Time changes people as well. But yeah, the two of you finally come together. It's like, okay, well, now things are getting cleared up and there's perspective being gained on both sides. Oh geez, and then it switches into that. As my ears starting to ring. It shows up like, okay, I'll work with Gemini. And then as soon as this energy shows up, they're kind of like, now, I don't really want to do that much. I'll do some things, but I'm not going to do that much. I'll just kind of sit back and see what happens. And it's kind of like, okay, well, you're somewhat participating, but you're not fully 100% participating. They're kind of like, well, that's how I kind of just want things to move forward for now. And it's like, okay. Of course, if you are dealing with anyone, you could be dealing with an air sign, a water sign, or a fire sign. They're all here. Goodbye.